What's up, guys? Welcome to the Skeleton Closet, where we talk celebrity news and hot topics. And today, the thing that is dominating the news cycle, okay, the thing that everybody's talking about, the number one thing trending on Twitter. Yes, we are talking about the Meghan and Harry interview, the royal exclusive tea, the Oprah sit down with Meghan and Prince Harry. Okay, so we got to get into it. So let's get into the video.
I'm gonna just run down my shout outs. The dun dun.
Let's just talk about how absolutely stunning Meghan Markle looks in this interview. She looks so good. She looks elegant, she looks calm, she looks healthy, and she looks at peace. She looks like she's very happy from what I can see of this interview. The things that they talk about in this interview are some of the most saddening things I have ever heard a celebrity or a royal family member talk about. So the interview starts of her and Oprah talking about her relationship with Harry and the things that unfolded throughout the course of their relationship. They start by talking about how it seemed like it would be a fairy tale for her to marry a prince, go to a palace, and do all of these things that we have seen as Americans of the royal family. But she said that it was not a modern day fairy tale after everything started to set in. She talked about her experience meeting the Queen for the first time. She said that she was going to meet some of the family members for a dinner, I believe, at one of their houses, and they learned that the Queen was going to be there. And she was very excited to be able to meet the Queen, but also Harry's grandmother. She didn't necessarily realize that she would also be meeting the Queen at that particular moment, because her and Harry have a conversation pretty quickly about her knowing how to curtsy. And she was like, "I'm going to meet your grandmother." And he said, "No, you're going to meet the Queen." And she said that that definitely put things into perspective for her, because even in private, you will bow to the Queen, okay? It doesn't matter whether their cameras are rolling or this is for a public event. You will bow for the Queen in public or in private. So that was made pretty clear early on. She said that the Queen was very warm and welcoming to her, but she did not extend the same grace or the same courtesy to the other family members. She didn't say that about Kate. She didn't say that about William. And she sure did not say that about Charles. There's so much to talk about that happened in this interview, but there are a couple things that stood out to me, okay? There is the conversation that was had about Archie's skin color, and there's also her talking about how she considered killing herself. And also the story that was all over the tabloids of her making Kate Middleton cry, and what we learned about the truth about that interaction. Now, let's just start with them having conversations about Archie's skin color. She said that somebody had a conversation with Prince Harry about the color of Archie's skin color. All right, this was before that he was born. But before we get into that, there's been a lot of conversation about her not necessarily Googling her new in-laws or the people that she would be meeting. Some of you might fault her for that, and some of us might be like, okay, that is reasonable, because as a famous person like she was an actor that was on Suits. She knows how showbiz and how the blogs and how fake stories can be told about certain people online. So she wanted to meet these people for herself and have a clear understanding on her own of who these people are. She said that Harry had already told her what she needed to know. He was not holding anything back. He wasn't lying to her, but there's only so much that you can learn from experience. And so a lot of people are saying online that, well, you didn't know what the royal family was. You didn't know how things happen. You didn't know all the skeletons that they have in their closet. You didn't know what happened to Princess Di. What did you know? And so I think we have to realize that as Americans, we don't follow the royals. We don't know what happens at Buckingham Palace. They aren't what dominate our news cycles, okay? What we hear about every day, or most of the time, or what dominates our news cycles is politicians sleeping with prostitutes or pop stars overdosing on drugs. So we don't know what happens across the pond with the royals, Prince Harry, Philip, the Queen, and all of that stuff. We don't learn about those things. We know the mega things. We know what the big news items, like this interview, Princess Diana, her interview when that aired, when they get married, but we don't know the day-to-day drama, okay? We don't know the celebrity tea. We don't know the royalty that happens all the time. This is just something that happens rarely. They'll be more able to put things into perspective of where her mind was going into this situation. Now, the first bombshell from the interview is definitely her talking about the Kate Middleton situation. She said that there was a conversation about flower girl dresses, and the story was that Meghan made Kate Middleton cry. Now, we now know that the reverse happened and that Kate Middleton made Meghan cry. But the question remains why the firm, why the palace didn't defend her when they were going on record lying about other people in the royal family to protect them, but they wouldn't even tell the truth to protect Meghan. Why is that? I talked about this in my video yesterday about why are they so afraid of Meghan. And I was scrolling on Twitter yesterday and saw this video of Princess Diana from her interview. And this is what she had to say about them fearing her.
People, I mean the establishment that I'm married into, because they've decided that I'm a non-starter.
Why do you think they've decided that?
Because I do things differently, because I don't go by a rule book, because I lead from the heart, not the head. And albeit that's got me into trouble in my work, I understand that. But someone's got to go out there and love people and show it.
And do you think that because of the way you behave, that's precluded you effectively from becoming queen?
Yes, well, not precluded me, I wouldn't say that. I just don't think I have as many supporters in that environment than I did. Yeah.
You mean within the royal household?
Mm-hmm. They see me as a threat of some kind. And I'm here to do good. I'm not a destructive person.
Why do they see you as a threat?
I think every strong woman in history has had to walk down a similar path. And I think it's the strength that causes the confusion and the fear. Why is she strong? Where does she get it from? Where is she taking it? Where is she going to use it? Why do the public still support her? When I say public, you go in and do an engagement and there's a great many people there.
That lets you know exactly what type of people we're talking about, okay? We know that they are holding on by a thread. They are trying to protect things that are dying, okay? And I'm not just talking about their old family members. I'm talking about the monarchy itself. People are tired of having to pay for their lavish lifestyle. Don't nobody want to do that. Thank God we don't have that in America. We probably would never have that in America because, like I said in my video yesterday, Americans don't want to pay for other people to live. It's just not going to happen. So she talks about the clear double standard that there is when it comes to other people in the royal family and her. And she says, if you love her, you don't have to hate me. And if you love me, you don't have to hate her. And I think that is a great way to put it, because it's clear that they fear her for some reason, but what is that? And I think Diana put it perfectly in that clip from her interview, and it is she has strength. What is she gonna do with that strength? Where is she gonna take it and where is she gonna put it? Because if you think about it, if Meghan was still in the family and if she wanted to be evil, vindictive, and just spiteful, she would use her popularity among the Commonwealth to rip them to shreds. And she could definitely do that. Because if you realize how people gravitated towards Diana, they gravitated towards Meghan Markle in the same exact way. And so there are some clear parallels between Princess Diana and Meghan Markle. And clearly Harry saw the same parallels because he wanted to get his family out of that situation before the same thing happened to his wife that happened to his mother. The other thing that stood out to me was them having conversations about baby Archie's skin color. Now, she says that around the time that they were having conversations about no security because they had stepped down and they decided, the firm had decided that Meghan and Harry were not going to have security, that nobody, even Prince Harry, wasn't going to have a security detail. There was conversations about a title. He would not be labeled as a prince. And there was also conversations about how dark his skin color is going to be. Now, Oprah's reaction to this is exactly the same way I reacted when I heard her say this. Like, before they panned the camera to her and she was like, what? That is mind-blowing. The fact that she even said that on TV, on national television, is mind-blowing. It blows my mind. And there are some theories going around about who actually said this, who was having a conversation with Harry about his child's potential skin color. And why does it matter what his skin color is going to look like? Whether he's white, brown, light brown, caramel, it doesn't matter what his skin color looks like. What color it is has no relevancy on whether or not you should want to protect him. That does not matter. So later we found out that it was not the Queen and it was not his grandfather. Okay, so it was not Philip and it was not the Queen. So does that mean that it was either Kate, Charles, or William that had the conversation? Or does that mean that Philip sent Charles to have the conversation? Or the Queen might have sent Charles to have the conversation? We just don't know who that conversation was with and what exactly they said, because Prince Harry did not want to talk about it. And that is another thing about this interview that kind of irritated me a little bit, is the fact that they are so nice. They are showing so much grace towards these people, and I don't really understand why. Because if it was me, my new motto is, when they go low, I go to hell, okay? And I would have been so mean to these people after they have almost driven my wife to suicide. And we're gonna get into that. That is my next point. Meghan talks about having suicidal thoughts while she was in this situation because of the vitriol, because of the hatred, and because of the lies that was being perpetuated throughout the British tabloids and them not protecting her. So not only were they lying to her about protecting her, but they were potentially, allegedly, even though I'm sure they were at this point, spreading lies about her. Because we learned that not only does the firm, the institution, the crown, the palace, they don't just sit back and let the tabloids do whatever they want to do. They host parties for them. They let them come to the palaces and have parties, and they mingle and are in cahoots with the royals. So I think that says a lot about what type of relationship the firm has with the British tabloids. So whether they were feeding them stories or not doesn't really matter, because they allowed for it to happen. And I have to say, all of this is very disheartening. It makes me very sad that a woman, a black woman, had to go through something like this at the hands of white people. But it is something that happens all the time. Malcolm X said it so well. He said, the most disrespected woman in America is the black woman. The most unprotected woman in America is the black woman. Now, we're not talking about over there, but it's clear that that happens everywhere. The black woman is the most unprotected and the most disrespected woman in the world. And we see this here. We see her being unprotected, even though they said that they were going to protect her. We see her being disrespected and being lied on. So it's pretty clear that Harry doesn't have much of a relationship with his father at this point. I feel like after this interview aired, we might as well call the relationships with the royal family across the pond very severed. I don't think Meghan and Kate had much of a relationship at all. I think William and Harry's relationship is going to get even more distant. I feel like the relationship between Harry and his father is going to be severed. And I think the Queen might stay in contact with Harry. I feel like as a grandmother, she's still going to want to provide love, and she's still going to want to be nurturing. Meghan even said herself that she was one of the first people to extend a warm welcome to her. She is going to remain the same person that she's been throughout this whole entire process. Harry said that he did not blindside the Queen, that she knew what was going on, but I can only imagine how hurt everybody must feel about all of this. Whether or not some people feel like their feelings are valid or not, that doesn't really matter at this point. it is what it is. But I can tell y'all that this has been something that has everybody's attention, and it is juicy. It was so much more that came out of this interview. That is just some of the high points, okay, or the low points, if you will. Those are the things that stood out. Let me know what y'all think about this interview down in the comments below. I think that it was a very, very, very good interview. Kudos to Oprah. Round of applause to her, because she did not let up. Okay, so definitely comment down in the comment section down below and let me know what you guys think about this interview. Where do you think Meghan and Harry go from here? Where do you think the monarchy is headed? What do you think the relationships between Meghan and the royal family is? What do you think the relationship between Harry and his family is? Let me know down in the comment section below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you haven't already, be sure to hit that like button, but also hit that subscribe button so that you can join us in the closet. And again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care.